Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Monday morning, and we're happy to have you here. We have a very special guest in with us today on the Stoidum, and we're just so pleased that you made it in with us finally, Commissioner. Yes. Our schedules haven't really lined up, and you finally made it in here with us, so we're really appreciative of you coming in. We have Commissioner Ann Taylor from District 5, County Commissioner, Vice Chair of the County Board, and we will get to her in just a little bit, but we got to tell everybody about our amazing sponsors and, of course, Bozard Ford. Bozard Ford, since 1949, Bozard Ford Lincoln has been more than just a dealership. It's been a St. Augustine tradition built on trust, family values, and doing things the right way. For 75 years, generations of drivers have relied on Bozard for quality vehicles and honest service. With over 1,200 vehicles to choose from, no surprise pricing, and the Drive Happy guarantee, Bozard makes buying a car truly effortless. That's the Bozard difference. Their award-winning state-of-the-art facility featuring 91 climate-control service bays, a quick lane for no appointment maintenance, and over 40 mobile service vans to bring Bozard difference directly to you. Try Ford's Garage Restaurant right there on site, and they are recognized as the prestigious Triple Crown Award and President's Awards. Bozard Ford Lincoln delivers hometown service at a national level excellence. You'll find friendly faces, great pricing, and a better buying experience right there off I-95 and State Road 16. Bozard Ford Lincoln, they're driven to inspire. All right, we have other great sponsors we got to give shout-outs to. Fidus Roofing, Old Town Trolley, Ben 39 Wine Bar, B&S Signs, Chris Lucero Bail Bonds, St. Augustine Handy House, and Sonny's Barbecue. Please get out there and support our sponsors and support us with your likes, comments, and shares. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to YouTube and Rumble. Download our app today at the Apple Store and just check us out. And we just really appreciate you being here. Blake, how you doing this morning, buddy?
Still a little bit tired from driving 3.5 hours last night. So, but doing well this morning.
Yeah, you going to St. Pete, Tampa area is just there's no good way to get there, is there?
No, there's no good way.
So did you go through Ocala, or did you do the I-4 one?
So Friday I went through I-4 through Orlando. Second time I went up 75 through Ocala.
Which one did you like better?
Honestly, I-4.
You liked I-4 better, huh?
Yeah.
It's kind of boring out there in the Ocala National Forest.
It kind of is I definitely rather see like fun advertisements and buildings rather than just seeing trees all the time.
Gotcha. All right. Now, Commissioner, we do a question of the day, and I know you've been studying all weekend for it.
Yeah.
And our question of the day today is, what's the strangest ice cream flavor that you like? Like everyone, kind of has chocolate and vanilla and that. What's the strangest ice cream flavor that you like?
I don't know if it's strange, but I love bubblegum.
Bubblegum.
I love bubblegum ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Blake used to do bubblegum a little bit when he was a kid. So Blake, what about you? Any strange ones you like?
Strangest one I think probably was like a key lime pie. Like just,
yeah.
it's just
well, you used to do the Superman, which would make your face about 6 different colors when you were a kid.
You slightly banned it.
Because you were staining things in the car. So I was thinking you were going to go back with the Superman because it was the red, white, and blue, and it was everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if it's a strange one or not, but I really like pistachio ice cream.
I love pistachio.
Yeah.
Love it.
I don't know if it's considered strange or, but I really, really love pistachio ice cream.
Now you're making me want some now.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's never a bad time for ice cream.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm an ice creamaholic. Yeah. Right there with chocolate.
Yep.
And everything. I'm a good milkshake guy too. Mm-hmm. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't ask that question. But a lot of people are joining us in the comments, and we do ask that last week, and I had to do this, and we asked people, don't be personal. If you get personal, Blake has the authority to take you out of the feed. We'll bring you back in, but you understand. Last week we had a little bit of an issue with it. And I just don't want it to be a factor. We want to hear everyone's opinion, but be nice. That's all we ask. Just be nice.
Yeah, that shouldn't be too much to ask.
No, it's not too much to ask, especially on a Monday
You
morning.
wouldn't think so, right?
Especially on a Monday morning. All right, it is now time for a quick check of the weather. And according to my weather report, it is still a little bit foggy out there, so be careful on the road. It's going to burn off, but it's going to be partly cloudy all day. High of 70s. Should be really, really nice day today. It's a little short. You can get away with short sleeves today. So, all right, and that weather is brought to us by Ben 39. Discover one of St. Augustine's hidden gems, Ben 39, located inside the St. George Inn at the north end of St. George Street with over 95 boutique wines, including 50 rated 50 points or higher by Robert Parker. Ben 39 is a perfect date night or an unwinding after-work getaway. Enjoy wines by the glass or bottle in a peaceful courtyard setting with live music adding to the atmosphere. Man, they have a great lineup of music. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Just stop in and say, I'll have what Irving's having. Ben 39, your taste to discover. Blake, it is time now for Blake's traffic report. Are the cameras working?
Yes, the cameras are working this morning. Still a little bit foggy out there north of us this morning. So and you can see still a little bit of fog on Mile Marker 318 near the outdoor outlet malls. So once again, please be careful out there on the roads, and please don't use your high beams on the fog.
Yes, and it should burn off pretty quick, but it's going to be cloudy most of the day.
Yeah, it should be.
All right.
All right. That traffic report is brought to you by Old Town Trolley. Climb aboard Old Town Trolley and explore over 500 years of history in the heart of St. Augustine in the most fun and flexible way possible. This full and narrated 90-minute tour features 20 convenient stops and more than 100 points of interest, including the Castillo de San Marcos, the Fountain of Youth, and Potter's Wax Museum. Enjoy open-air all-day views with all-day hop-on, off-off access, plus free parking at the old jail and welcome centers with your ticket. And when the sun goes down, they explore the city's spooky side with the Ghosts and Gravestones tour. Locals ride free with a full fare. Guests with the Hometown Pass program at hometownpass.com. Old Town Trolley, the best way to see St. Augustine, one stop at a time.
All right. We do have one story before we get into, but it kind of leads us right into the interview. It's an important story that's going on right now in the state, and it is this is the story. It's called Blue Ribbon Project. St. Johns County worried Blue Ribbon Project bill would create urban sprawl and loss of local control. That's the big one. According to reporting from Action News Jax, large-scale developments spanning tens of thousands of acres could soon be fast-tracked by approval under the legislation advising in Tallahassee. The proposal would create new designation called Blue Ribbon Projects, allowing landowners with at least 1,500 acres to petition for approval, potentially overriding local zoning codes and future land use plans. Supporters say the goal is to promote what is called smart growth. I don't think so. Under the House version of the bill, developers would be required to preserve at least 60% of the land as undeveloped space. House sponsor Representative Lauren Mello says the concept balances limited development with large-scale conservation, but critics argue the measure could drastically reshape rural communities and reduce local control. In Hastings and other rural areas of St. Johns County, residents say the bill threatens the character of their community. Some point out major undeveloped parcels in the county that could qualify under the Blue Ribbon status. Environmental groups warn each qualifying project would allow more than 70,000 housing units, effectively creating a city larger than most municipalities in Florida. St. Johns County Commissioner Sarah Arnold says the county commission opposes the proposal, arguing it would strip local leaders of their authority over overgrowth decisions. The bill is now headed to the House floor for a vote and has one remaining committee stop in the Senate. Because there are differences between the two versions, lawmakers would need to agree on final language before the measure can move to the governor's desk. With this legislation session nearing its end, residents and local officials say time is running out to weigh in. All right, that is a great lead-in story to come come to you for your interview, Commissioner.
it is.
And thank you again for coming in. I really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You know, and so where are you at with this bill? I mean, you know, to me, I want everything to stay local control. We vote you five in for a reason,
Right.
to make the decisions. Where are you at with this bill?
Absolutely. And I've been very vocal about this bill.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, at our last commissioner meeting, I received consensus from the board
Mm-hmm.
opposing this. I did letters to all committee members, including our legislators and Senator Leak, and it could not be more horrific.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely terrible. I hear all the time from people that everybody wants home rule and they want a voice, and this just completely bypasses that and takes their voice away.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me.
Nope.
You know, and it sounds like they still got some work on the Senate side, but you know, if the House bill is too conflicting, it's probably going to die there.
Yes.
And that's
we
where
can
we
hope.
that's where
We
we
want it to die.
That's where we want it to die.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, because it's your first time in,
Sure.
I like people to get to know you a little bit. So one of the questions I always ask whenever commissioners are in here for the first time, being a county commissioner, being a city commissioner, you know, puts you in the limelight with, it opens up you and your family and everyone else to a lot of scrutiny. What was your thought process when you said, you know what, I think I want to run for county commissioner? and if I was your friend, I'd be like, no, you don't.
Yeah,
but
right.
What drove you to make that decision?
Sure.
I guess it's coming up on 2 years ago now.
Right. And actually, it was not a decision that I took lightly.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that I have to be honest, I prayed about it.
Mm-hmm.
I really look at this as a calling, because you're right. Who in their right mind would want to go into
Yeah.
something like this? But I do have to share this. Do you know that before I officially filed to run for county commissioner, that I prayed for 2 weeks straight?
Mm-hmm.
Every single night I would pray to, you know, what is my next step? And every night it could not be clear. I'd randomly open up my Bible. It was so clear. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's such a coincidence. I would close my Bible, open it again, and it was clearer than the last time for 2 weeks straight. And I remember going into the other room to my husband and I said, I think I know what I'm meant to do. So, yeah.
Well, going back even before then, and you and I have had a conversation. Didn't you serve on where you were from before, on a committee before, or a city commission?
No.
Oh, you've never served at all?
No, I am not a politician. I have never, no. The only thing that I mean, I was president of my HOA. I've been very involved with my kids at their schools, but no. This is
You've never served a public. Oh my goodness.
No. I've always worked in the private sector. Government is new to me. No, this was completely a whole different thing for me.
And
Yeah.
you came to St. Augustine. When did you come to St.
I
Augustine?
moved here in 2013.
2013.
I've been coming to this area, however, for many years. Years ago, I have a business degree. I've been in the business field, and I've been in the medical industry for a long time. So I've been coming for many years. I worked for J&J.
Okay.
So yeah.
Very, very cool. Now you're in District 5. In District 5, I don't think people realize this. You represent District 5, but your position is county-wide. Like you represent everybody in the county.
Exactly.
And everybody in the county votes on your position.
Right.
Used to be, when I started back in 1990 with the county, you voted in just your district, very similar to the school district, and then you had 2 at large, and there was a total of 7.
Yeah.
I like 5 much better, but I also liked it better, the format where you're serving your district, because it's stacked on the politics to it in a lot of ways. With where you represent, is it harder to represent the district the format it is right now, because you do have to take care of everybody?
Absolutely.
And a large part of the population is in the northern part of the county, and I know they separate it by population, and it gets a little, I don't want to use the gerrymander, but it has to get to the population numbers.
Right.
Would it be easier if your district and your 100% because you have to represent everybody under
Right,
this strategy. Have you ever thought of it under the other format? Because
I have.
it hasn't existed since probably the late 90s
Right.
that way.
Yeah.
So
And no, I have thought about that. And certainly when you run, it would certainly make it a whole lot easier. Because
Yeah.
when it's an at-large position, you've got to cover the entire county. And that's really hard, especially for somebody that's a grassroots person like I am. But what's interesting is District 5 actually goes as far north as Racetrack, which is really the border. So you can't get any further north than that in our county, all the way down onto the island. So the way District 5 is, it's long and narrow, but it does cover
it covers the entire island. It covers the city of St. Augustine.
Yes, it does.
So we live in your district.
Yeah.
But the question I have is, with that, when running, it kind of takes, to me, this is, the school districts, district by district, and you can look at the numbers of, it puts a financial burden on somebody like you who is a grassroots person
Yes,
because of it being countywide.
absolutely.
And I think that's when all these outside dollars were coming in. The PACs really have gotten out of control over the last 15 years. And I know we got some PAC leaders out there watching the show.
Yep.
But I mean, it didn't used to be that way in the 90s, and these PACs have no rules really against them. So how does a person from a grassroots side defend yourself against some of these PACs and make your message out there?
And that was really the most challenging thing, was exactly what you just said. And I mean, because St. Johns County is a huge county and very, very challenging, not only for someone like me to raise money, but be able to get the word out. And I can't even tell you how many doors I knocked on. I had a little electric scooter and I knocked on doors, and to overcome what happened in 2024 was, it was unbelievable. I mean, people always know politics is ugly. I had no idea at all just how ugly it really truly can be. I mean, just to give you an example, I mean, my son worked at Publix at the time, and he would have people come up and stop him at work. Oh, I heard this about your mom. I heard this about your mom. And he would say, have you spoken to my mom?
Yeah.
It's like anyone that's spoken to my mom more than 15, 30 seconds knows that none of that is true. But I'll never forget this, as I mentioned earlier, knocking on a lot of doors and having to overcome that. I remember knocking on a door. And I remember here in St. Johns County, everything's determined in the primary, right? It's that August primary. And I was out every single night. We did not eat dinner as a family until the primary was over, August 21st. I will never forget when we finally all sat down as a family for dinner. But I remember knocking on a door. Somebody would say, hold on, I'll be right back. They would go back in the house. They would come out with one of the attack mailers against me. And they had written across my face in a Sharpie, a big no. And it was nothing but lies. And I remember looking at this lady and I said, ma'am, none of that is true. If you believe any of that, I said, they win. And she's like, really? Well, I'm so glad you came to my door. And I thought, well, that's great, but it's going to be really hard to hit 35,000 other doors. So, but you're right, that is such a challenge as far as getting the truth out there. It costs money.
Well, and Mike Davis, who owns this building, Mike and I had we had our radio show for years and years, and this is what sprung out of it is where we're at with the 904 now. But Mike ran for House seat a couple of different times, and one of his opponents put an attack ad about, I was Parks and Recreation Director, attacking the golf course and a decision that was made under my watch. And I went in and I slammed it down. He's like, I had no idea that was even out there, but it was they were defending his side against me. And I was like, he's like, we don't get to see those. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, there is a separation between what's happening with that.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to tell you this. So I remember asking my husband, all right, what's in the mailbox today? I literally would cringe about the thought of going to the mailbox or even the TV. I mean, the commercials were back to back to back.
Yeah.
I have dear friends of mine that know me very well that said they had to turn the TV off over dinner because they could not believe what they were seeing on TV about me. So it is a shame that it had to be so ugly, and that's fine if you don't want to vote for me, but just don't judge me based on lies.
Well, and here's
that's the hardest
here's
thing.
where I'm at, and I speak to all 5 commissioners pretty regular, including yourself. Leave families out of it. You know, that's what really bothers me. And I've been in the public eye from my Parks and Recreation days and being the director there, and so my boys are used to the attacks. And now we're in the public eye, and he's in the public eye with me now.
Right.
You know, and the headline readers believe everything they read just in the headline, and then they don't get into the details of it. So that is part of the problem. And the one that I struggle with, and I've kind of scolded the board about it. You 5 are more alike than you are apart, but there's a faction that's your supporters and their supporters are probably more angry at each other than the ones up there making the decision. And this is through my conversation. And a lot of times the argument against each other is the same thing. Oh, they're not fighting development enough. They're not fighting development enough. And from a guy who was here when development first sprung up, and we screwed up as a county. We screwed up with World Golf Village. And it was called a DRI now then, and it's not called that anymore. But I can tell you, I was fairly new at it. Everybody who was at the county was fairly new at it, and we screwed up. We've gotten better each big development that's come in to hold it, and since probably about 2010, 2012, around that time, coming out of the recession, I feel like we've gotten a lot better. In the 2 years you've been there, what is something that you're proud of? Because you ran on, slow development. You're not going to stop development. But
No.
Slow development.
Right.
What's something you're proud of in your 2 years on that, delivering that message?
Sure. And you know what I hear quite often from people, and it really means the world to me, is that my word means something to me. I hear all the time from people in this county that come up to me and they say, Commissioner Taylor, thank you for doing what you said you would do. So, and I heard this all the time, even when I mentioned door knocking before. So many people say, oh, great. You talk, you're just like all of the others, you'll talk a great game. And then when you get in, you'll do the opposite. But I have not done that. I am doing exactly what I ran on and exactly what I said on. And I think that says a lot. And I have to be honest, I wasn't in office very long. And I did have somebody come up to me and say, Commissioner Taylor, we can tell that you are not a politician. You are truly a public servant. And I do. I hear that often, and that is true. And I truly believe that my eyes are the windows to my soul, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So I'm very proud of that. I am not a politician by any means. I really want the residents to have a voice, and I want to give them that voice.
And one of the, and I've said this to every commissioner that's come in. So one of the things that I really push for is forcing some of these developers to put land in conservation, because once it's in conservation, it makes it financially prohibitive. I mean, you can always flip things,
right?
But it makes it financially prohibitive for the future.
Right.
And we did a good job with that with Nocatee and the Nocatee Preserve.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see that replicated more when, Joe Schmo developer comes in and wants to do 10,000 houses again. All right, well, we'll us figure this out and figure some way to get, because property rights is a real thing. And if they got enough money and they got enough time, they can push. Conservation, to me, is the only way we save our county. How have you, because you see these developers and you see these things, what is a strategy you use to make things better for the county that you can think of? And each one's different, but what's one that sticks in your mind? Like if I'm sitting there, I'd be like focused on conservation.
Right.
And everybody has a different passion. So
Right.
what is something?
And you know what? And absolutely, I'm very, very passionate about conservation. I mean, one of the things that was very, very important to me as well is even things. I'm so glad that you mentioned property rights just a minute ago too, because I think when we think about property rights, there's more than just one property, right? Because I want to give you the example of what happened to my neighbors not that long ago, a few years ago. This is actually when I was president of my HOA. My neighbors woke up to a bulldozer right outside their kitchen window one day. You had no notice. The property was zoned commercial. We knew that. It was zoned commercial. And within, oh my gosh, barely 2.5 days, every tree was clear cut on this commercial lot. Every tree gone. And it was infuriating just because they can do it. That's what they did. But what's infuriating is that now guess what they have a view of? Giant, when they look out their kitchen window now, it's a giant multi-level storage unit. Now, how is that okay? What about that homeowner's property rights? What about their property rights? So, and my whole thing is, and I get it, it was commercial, but why can't we leave some mature trees as a buffer? So what they do is they clear cut, then they go in and they plant these new trees that are no bigger than I am, and I'm not very big, that we will never see grow in our lifetime. And what was frustrating as well is that, you can do all the due diligence you want. Do you know what happened in that situation? That was considered, people did do their due diligence. It was supposed to be, what was supposed to be allowed there was a building, an office building of 9,500 square feet. 9,500 square feet. Yes. And do you know what happened? Because it did not affect the traffic, they were allowed 10 times that square footage. And that was considered a minor variance. Minor. How is that minor? A giant multi-level storage unit and the entire lot, all but a few parking spaces. It was all gigantic multi-level. There's nothing that tall in the area. That is the kind of stuff that is just, it's so infuriating. So when you talk about property rights, what about that military family that lives in that property and now
they knew they backed up the commercial.
Right, but not like that. But you can do your due diligence. You don't know when a minor variance is going to go through.
I get called a developer because of my position with the hotels. And I have a real estate company, and I make sure if I'm selling a residential, you're backing up to this. We have zero control at that point.
Right.
And I know a lot of real estate people, I don't sell a whole lot of residential stuff. I sell to my friends. So I probably handle it a lot different than a young, hungry real estate person who's trying to make the sale.
Right.
But I can tell you right now, I'm very clear with all my people. Like where my house is right now is in an area which is completely surrounded with Airbnbs. All right. And the people I hear about
that all the time.
The people I've sold in my neighborhood, I'm like, this is going to be a thing. I don't have a problem with Airbnbs because the people who have Airbnbs take really good care of their properties because they have to. But when I sell real estate, I am very clear about who's going to be there and who's not going to be there. And the person who spent the money on that property also has some of those rights too, and that's what I'm talking about with property rights, because I'm on both sides of it. I have the residential and I have the commercial side.
But remember, you can do all the research you want. You have no idea when a minor variance is going to be approved. 9,500 square feet to 95,000 square feet.
Yeah,
I mean, a few feet from somebody's home.
That's more than a minor mod.
That is way more than a minor variance.
Exactly. More than a minor mod. All right, we're going to come back and we got to pay some bills here. And Blake, are you doing the Gas Buddy Gas Report?
Yes, I am.
All right, if you can do that for me, I'd appreciate it.
All right, Gas Buddy Gas Report. Let us know. And wrong camera. Let us know in the comments. Where you seeing the best price of the gas? This is the camera I meant to press right there.
There you go.
All right. So we have the Sunoco at $21.99. North Ponce is at $284. The gate on US 1 North is $289. The Circle K on 207 is $289. The Circle K on US 1 is $289. The gate on Mizell Road is $293. The Sunoco at 450 South Ponce is $297. The Owens at 780 South Ponce is $297. The Shell at 216 Ponce de Leon Boulevard is $297. The mobile and Circle K combo is $2.99. And the shell at 2350 North Ponce de Leon, next to the famous hot dogs, is $2.99. That Gas Buddy Gas Report is brought to you by Chris Lucero Bail Bonds. When the unexpected happens, turn to the name St. Augustine Trust. Chris Lucero Bail Bonds, available 24/7. Their experienced and compassionate team moves fast to help you or your loved one get out of jail and back home. They handle everything from paperwork to release with professionalism, discretion, and zero judgment. When every minute counts, remember the name and the number. Chris Lucero, Bail Bonds at 904-822-BAIL. That's 904-822-2245.
All right, and I have the live music today brought to us by visitstaugustine.com. We have Richard Kanicki at Cafe 11 at 12:15. Kevin Edwards at Hurricane Grill and Wings at 5. Sam Bassetti at Prohibition Kitchen at 6. Stu Weaver at Harry's at 6. Parker Barrow at Cafe 11 at 8 o'clock. And Toto at the Amp at 8 o'clock. And that music report is brought to us by Fidus Roofing. When it comes to protecting your home and property, trust Fidus Roofing and Construction, voted best of St. Augustine every year since 2012. Specializing in residential and multifamily roofing, Fidus delivers expert shingle solutions, metal roof installations, and quality paver work built to handle Florida's toughest weather. As a GAF Master Elite contractor, their work is backed by the top-tier materials and trusted warranties. From emergency repairs to full roof replacements, Fidus gets it done. Call 904-355-ROOF, 904-355-7663, Fidus Roofing, where trust is built from the top down. Now, we usually do trends here. We're not going to do trends because we have Commissioner Taylor in, but I got to tell you about the great people at Florida Handy House, the good Troy, looking for a portable building that's built to last. St. Augustine Handy House, proudly owned by Troy Usina Enterprise, has been serving the community since 1988, featuring handy houses, America's #1 manufacturer of portable buildings. They offer everything from utility sheds, workshops, to lofted barns, offices, and full custom buildings, all designed for strength and long-term value. With over 70 structures to choose from, plus free delivery, leveling and anchoring, and easy financing, St. Augustine Handy House makes adding space simple. Visit them on State Road 16 at 90, or give them a call at 904-823-9092. St. Augustine Handy House, where quality meets convenience and community matters. All right, we are back to the interview. We paid some bills, and so we're back to our interview here. Now, commissioners sit on a lot of different committees. I'm on the TDC board. Clay's been on it. Krista's been on it, and I think Sarah's now on it with us. We have not served on a board yet together. What are some of the boards that you when you came in, you're like, oh, I really want to be on that board? Is there particular ones that you wanted to represent when you came in?
No, but I was so excited to be on the BCB board, which is very close to, TDC, as you know. I'm very passionate about our tourism industry, especially that City of St. Augustine is in District 5. So that was very, really important as well.
Yeah, because that's almost 30% of our jobs are in the hospitality world.
Right.
Vic from our company, one of our owners, sits on that board with you.
Yeah. Then you mentioned conservation earlier. I've been very proud to be the liaison to the Lamp Board. So that's a big one as well that I'm very, very passionate about. Yeah.
Very passionate. All right. So coming in, and because you're a new politician, words matter when you're trying to get your message across.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I'm the president of Home Again and Veterans Village, and I appreciate the support you've given us and the county's given us. But one of the things I've learned over my 20 years of being in the homeless fight is when I was just saying it was homeless or unhoused, we had a struggle. Now we've added veterans to it. Now we're serving the same people, but now I've added the veterans term to it, and it's like now everybody's on our side, and it's like, okay, I'm still serving the exact same people, but words matter with that. can you give me an incident where you're like, okay, early on, like you learn a lot in the year. You're kind of drinking from the fire hose when you
Yes.
first get in.
Yes. Actually, you know what? Probably fire hydrant.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, probably fire hydrant.
Yeah,
right.
that's more a better analysis. But was there something you learned right away, like if I say it like this instead of like this, that really stands out in your messaging?
Yes, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because something does stand out to me, and as you mentioned before, really, I really think the reason that I'm even in this seat is because of the message and what I stand for. And when I ran, what was really important to me was to slow the growth. Mm-hmm. And by that, I mean slow the residential growth, not our businesses and those that are going to create jobs in this county. So I want to make that I tried to make that very, very clear that I am very much a proponent of our businesses, small, large. My husband is a small business. So in no way when I meant slow the growth, did that mean businesses and that. So completely just the opposite. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of homes that are entitled and not yet built. So we have got to let our infrastructure catch up. Our roads, our roads are so many are over capacity. Over 44% of our roads are over capacity, and it's getting worse every day. And I hear from people all the time that are tired of spending 20, 30 minutes to go a mile, which is very common. But anyway, that would be the big one. When I meant slowing the growth, that didn't mean any growth at all. It was more the residential.
You got to
clarify that.
You got to clarify that.
Exactly.
And
then I had a lot of people too that said, you said you would stop it. Well, we can't stop it. That's not even realistic. We've got many things that are still coming. So right. Nobody can stop it. And I never claimed to even want to stop it. So,
and people are like, well, when are we going to end homeless? We're not going to end homelessness.
Right,
We're going to ease the pain of it.
Right.
Now, and I'm going to get back on that commercial because for decades we've been talking about out of balance residential to commercial.
Yes.
A healthy community should be 30% commercial and 70% residential. We unfortunately are about 14% commercial to our residential. Now, I understand our schools are better, our parks are better, so we are going to feed Jacksonville a lot. But there's parts of the county that are prime for recruiting these businesses. How can, from your seat, how can we do a better job of recruiting those businesses to make that balance move in the right direction? Because we've talked about it for 20 years, but the number really hasn't shifted a lot.
Right.
And every commissioner who's come in the last 20 years is like, we're growing too fast. We're over, our infrastructure's in struggle. And that's, I've heard it for, like I said, decades. How do you feel we can better recruit some of these quality companies that can make a huge difference to us?
Right. And I think that's really where the chamber can help come in as well. The Chamber of Commerce can help with that. Now that, St. Johns County is booming, what business wouldn't want to be here? Rooftops, and we've got many, many rooftops. So I personally, I have seen a lot more business come in. I think at the same time too, I don't think that percentage is changing because also our residential keeps going up as well. Correct. So I think, and you were spot on as far as the percentages go. But I have noticed a lot more businesses, coming here, but I don't know as far as changing that percentage in that. But look at how much our population has grown. What business wouldn't want to be here?
Yeah. Because we come down to the end here, and I have to ask this question because it's the biggest one that's out there in the state, is the governor was in town last week. We were there when he did the unveiling, and this question comes up every time. The governor, he's trying to do an elimination of property tax for primary homeowners. Where I'm at in the city, we have a lot of secondary homeowners. We have hotels that support and stuff like that. So I don't think it's as big a hurt. It's going to hurt the city, but I see it really hurting the county and county services under the plan that he has. What conversations have went on with the local delegation on how this is going to affect the county And because no one wants to raise it. No one sitting in your seat wants to raise the millage.
Right.
And no one really in the public wants to lose our services.
Right.
What's some of the conversations that you've had with, because it's an unknown.
Right.
I don't know. I would love to say, yes, we're cutting those taxes, but I also don't want to hurt our services to the level where it affects our quality of life.
Absolutely.
We got it pretty good here.
Right.
What are some of the conversations that have taken place from you to the state legislation about this possible property tax issue?
Right. And I think what's been very clear with our state is that just like so many of their unfunded mandates, they come up with an idea. I mean, it sounds great. Who wants to pay property taxes, right? I don't want to. You don't want. I mean, nobody wants to pay more taxes than they have to. But I think what's really interesting is, and what a lot of people don't realize, is that property taxes that's the only way that local government is funded. So if we remove property taxes, there'll be no.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking. In fact, I was just at a meeting
gotta come
in
from
DC.
someplace
It's
else.
got to come from somewhere, and so much of the state depends on it that literally counties will either have to close, cities will be gone. I mean, we really have to think this through. Because just saying, no, we're not going to be able to, to have property taxes. And yet at the same time, we want to have our sheriff. We want to have our fire departments. We want to be able to do things. And so it has to be a balance. And I don't see our state as thinking things through. I think that, it sounds great and it's something that somebody, a presidential candidate can run on. But that's about, think about it. That's what it's all about.
And that's where I'm at. And I know St. Johns County's in a very healthy position. City of St. Augustine's in a very healthy position because, as much as the public likes to attack staff and administrations and they've done a phenomenal job of positioning our county, in having conservative representatives has helped too. With where we're at, we have a strong reserve, and I believe the city's in a very similar situation. But this would be an attack on everything we built on, and the problem I see is counties like us are going to have to bail out other counties. We're one of the few counties that gets back less than they give. There's only like 7 or 8 counties in the entire state that gets back more than they give, and I don't think people understand that.
Right.
So, like I said, don't punish us for being good.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what I see this bill as. Blake, before we go any further, because we're about to close it out here, any questions that you saw that were relevant that we need to ask the commissioner?
I believe most of the comments were just all like talking about it. So I did not personally see any questions about it. But one thing I do want to ask Commissioner Taylor about is about conservation because during like property rights debates like on the show, my dad has mentioned like the best thing for the county to do was to work on conservation, like protecting the land as much as possible. What's nice, but also know it's also an environmental issue, and I know that a lot of like the people in our county see like environmental as like a certain partisan way. How do you get the message across that conservation is like to preserving the land here in the county is the best way to help slow the growth?
Well, I think people in our county are very much aware of that. Because if you remember, look at all the surveys that we did in this county. And what was one of the number one things that is important to the residents in St. Johns County? Preservation and conservation. So they made that loud and clear overwhelmingly. So people do support that. And that's what they would like to see. So I would, so we've got to do a much better job at preserving and conserving That's why, I was very vocal. I tried really hard this past year to, as the liaison to the LAMP board, to increase the funding for the LAMP, because I have to be honest. We were given the LAMP board was given $500,000 in a year. As well as I do, that's nothing. What can you do with $500,000? So that was very insulting. And the way property is, is priced the way it is here, we're going to need to do much better with that. We are not going to be able to have much conservation and preservation if we can't fund it.
That's why I'm saying it if we can boost that up when these big developers come in
Yep.
and say, hey, you want to play with us, this is what you got to give us.
Right.
And, you're not saying no. And, you still might get beat up on close the doors. And those people moved here in 2020 when, for some reason, there was a boom. I don't know what happened then. And they're telling us now we have to close the doors. For somebody who's been here for, since 1987, it's like, okay, at what point are we supposed to close the door? We can't close the doors.
Right. No, we can't.
But we have to do the best we can for what we have.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm saying if you want to play ball with us, here's what you got to do and stick to those rules.
Right.
Because sometimes we relax those rules, and that's when we get ourselves in trouble.
Right. But I did want to mention too, because I know we talked about the Blue Ribbon projects earlier, and when they talk about the percentage that could be, I think you said preserved or that, what's really important about that is the definition of what they consider preserved. It could be pickleball courts. It could be a utility. It could be, so that's really not preserving.
No.
Correct?
No,
I mean, so that's what's really important. In
talking,
that bill, that's what they talk about, and that's not preservation or conservation.
Yeah.
So it's really important to know truly what is preservation and conservation.
Because there is inside a lot of the development code and stuff like that, you have to give a percentage to recreation. I'm not talking recreation. I'm talking conservation. True conservation, because once it gets in there, as a developer, I look at that and go, nope, not touching that. Because everything can be moved and reversed with the next board. But you have to make it where it's not cost effective for them to even play ball with it and just to stay away from it.
Right.
And that's, and I'm 100% a recreation guy and want to have those too, but to truly save what we have, that's that. And I've been preaching it for a long, long time, probably a little too much. All right. Is there anything you wanted to get out, a message you wanted to get out before we start closing out the show here? Because I've been asking a lot of questions, but I haven't given you a whole lot of free time to.
No, it's great. I just want anybody listening right now, just know I have very much an open door policy. Please call me, email me. I meet with everybody. I am as I see you all the time as well. So I don't stop. I go morning, noon, night, weekends. My kids are always, even this is when I was running as well. Mom, why do you care so much? And I tell them to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
But I just want everyone to know that, please, I'm very much open door. Reach out to me. I'd love to hear.
Yeah.
But thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
Yeah. We thank you for coming in, and this hopefully won't be your last time in here. We do what we do for our kids. So
exactly.
All right, Blake, how do you want to approach the comments, sir, and check the comments?
All right, on this Monday morning, this maestro will masterfully maneuver through the myriad of the minions' magnanimous comments.
All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to tell you about the great people at B&S Signs. For over 50 years, family-owned B&S Signs has been a trusted name in the signage game here in St. Augustine and surrounding areas. From vinyl lettering to large pylon signs, B&S Sign does it all, backed by fast installation, expert crane service, and reliable repair and maintenance to keep signs looking the best. Named Business of the Year for 2025, B&S Signs is known for quality craftsmanship and top-level service. Making a lasting impression with B&S Signs, visit bnssigns.com, because when it comes to signs, they do it all. All right, Blake, what you got, buddy?
All right, for gas support, we got BP at 287, Wawa Racetrack and Speedway at 293. Those are all on US 1. And then we have the 7-Eleven on County Road 210 at 259. For some of the national days today, we have Banana Cream Pie Day, Egg McMuffin Day, and Read Across America Day.
Okay.
And then for some of the question of the day today, for what's the weirdest flavor of ice cream you ever had? Some of them included eggnog ice cream, Christmas tree cake flavored ice cream from Publix, any ice cream with liquor, and unfortunately one that says I'm lactose intolerant. Sorry. Scott.
Oh, okay. So sorry for your loss of that. All right. It is now time for the Stoidum Stat, and today's Stoidum Stat is, and a lot of people don't know this story. But before Rosa Parks, there was a young lady. She was 15 years old. Her name was Claudette Colvin. And Claudette refused to give up her seat in 1955 on this day in Montgomery, Alabama. And the reason she didn't have the fame is because she was a minor. And at that time, the people that were pushing for civil rights, she didn't fit the narrative of a hardworking person. She came off more as a rebellious kid. Her skin was darker than what they were looking for at the time, which to me is heartbreaking. But Claudette was charged with aggravated assault on a police officer. That got dropped. Disobedience of the segregation rules, that one stuck, and she did not get that charge dropped against her until 2021. So it took that long, from 55 to 2021, for the state of Alabama to clean up that bill. And the other thing is unfortunately, not unfortunately, she had a beautiful child. She was pregnant at age 16, so she didn't fit the wholesome narrative. So that's the reason we know Rosa Parks' name instead of Claudette, because of words matter and image matters. And what we were talking about earlier, that was still in existence in 1955. But she was equally as brave and should get some credit for standing up for what she believed and what was right at the time. So we're celebrating Claudette today. So, all right. And that Stodom Stat is brought to us by Sonny's Barbecue. Craving a real Southern barbecue, Sonny's Barbecue, located at 2720 State Road 16 in St. Augustine, serves up slow-smoked favorites made to satisfy. Start with crowd pleasers like barbecue pork egg rolls, smoke wings, and crispy corn nuggets. Then dig into the tender baby back ribs, or try one of the Pitmaster's picks with all the classic sides, including the famous garlic bread. And no visit is complete without Sonny's signature sweet tea. Sonny's Barbecue, local Pitmasters since 1968. Blake, do you have any plugs, sir?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who watched the 904 trackside coverage at the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Pete. I really appreciate it. Actually, next big event that I'm actually going to be at is actually this weekend. I'm going to be covering a little bit of, this is probably going to be like a one-day thing, but I'm going to be covering the Amelia Concours de Elegance.
Oh, you're going up there with the fancy cars.
Going up there with the fancy cars, not the fast.
When you drink, pinky out.
I'll try my best.
Pinky out when you drink there. All right. And we have Bollocks tonight. We're going to do 5 questions. Lenny will be in. We have an author coming in tomorrow. We have some guest speakers coming up on Bollocks that are going to be a lot of fun over the next couple weeks. So appreciate you guys. This is where we wave and smile, Commissioner.
Okay. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.